to sit back in fourth place. It stands at the back as long as he can keep Olsen in his sights. He can still do enough to win this 76 long track championship. Mauger, Weisbach now. Olsen getting up. If Olsen gets up into second place and takes Weisbach, this poor old Kundra, like, looking a bit messy and a bit sorry for himself. Weisbach stretches away in front. Although remember, Mauger's a long way up in front and going more than somewhat. Around this bottom corner, there's an enormous track, beautiful silver sand. There's Mauger up front in second place, Weisbach. Olsen trying hard as they go across the line. He's done enough, his hands up in signal. He's won it. Major takes the title for the third time. Olsen is second. Mauger, with that win, has done enough for a third place.
This year I wasn't World Speedway champion, but I was World Long Track champion. Whereas financially, probably I'm much better off with one more World Long Track championship, because it's 4 years since I was World Champion now. But that's not to say that I wouldn't have preferred to have been World Speedway Champion. I'd like to get a fifth one.
Here we have the Crystal Glass World Championship trophy, which I'm very, very proud to present, I think, for the second time in 24 hours, to our own Ivan Mauger. Here we go, Ivan. The microphone is yours.
Well, I'm glad you gave it to me, Wally, because you were shaking a bit then. I thought you were going to drop it. Well, I'm very pleased and very proud to get another World Championship. And I've got World Championships for each of the clubs I've been to, and I'm very pleased to bring one down to Exeter. And just hope we can get some more. All right.
In 1949 time was my first introduction to Speedway after coming out of the services, and of course it was a fabulous sport. 60,000 crowds at West Ham, you know, an ordinary stadium in London. With the coming of television, Speedway, like every other spectator sport, took a knock, and over the years it dwindled to just 6 tracks in what was then known as the National League. And they carried on for a few years, but it's a sport that will never die. It's a true family sport, and we now have 19 tracks in the Gulf British League and 18 tracks in the new National League, the equivalent of the second division. Riders are coming from all over the world to Speedway. I mean, at Exeter here we have Scott Autry, the American, top American rider. We have Ivan Mauger, who must be the #1 rider in the world ever. I mean, as a promoter here at Exeter, in signing Ivan Mauger, I felt it was a terrific gamble, because the top men, of course, are very expensive. It was a gamble that's paid off, and I'm very proud to have been associated with Ivan, because every club can have a #1, and a #1 can, of course, score 12 points. He's so professional that everything he does is watched and copied. He leaves the starting gate, he looks for his partner. If his partner can get around the first turn, he will always sit behind him. Team riding is what League Speedway is all about. And there's no doubt at all that Ivan Mauger is #1 in the world.
It is only in recent years that Speedway and its bigger brother, long track racing, has become a lucrative sport, and then only for a handful of superstars. At the bottom end of the scale, riders just about cover their costs. For the top stars, big money and endless silver, gold and glass trophies are there for the taking. At the height of a man's career, with World Speedway and long track championships under his belt, and taking into account widespread sponsorship, he could earn more than £80,000 a year, most of that from appearance money at big invitation meetings around the continent. For the second-string riders, however, who rely almost completely on British League racing, every heat and every point has to be earned the hard way. A few pounds starting money and a few pounds per point. Wreck an engine during the meeting or suffer an injury and they're hundreds of pounds out of pocket. Mauger's empire extends to interests off the track as well. He owns extensive property in New Zealand and writes books and newspaper articles. He lends his name to brand name items and devotes a lot of time to increasing his already considerable sponsorship. The The number of hours he spends at his desk in his trophy room now far exceeds the number of hours he's in the saddle. He's a businessman who commutes around the world. His biggest problem is getting back to Exeter in time to ride for his league team on a Monday evening. Centerpiece of Mauger's glittering trophy room is his golden bike, the gift of an American businessman who promised him he would plate the machine with gold if he won the World Championship 2 years running. Mauger did, and the American kept his word. Originally valued at £8,000, it could now be worth 4 times that figure. To Ivan Mauger, of course, its worth is impossible to quantify. Mauger's choice of Stockport as his home base is no accident. Just a few miles from Manchester Airport, he can be airborne within the hour. The height of the season, he will cover over 2,000 miles within a week. Tonight, it's a comparatively short drive over the Pennines to Sheffield. Tomorrow night, he goes to Denmark, the day after to King's Lynn, then over to the continent for the weekend and back to Exeter on Monday evening. Wednesday down to White City in London, and Friday back over to Czechoslovakia.
Obviously, over 20 years, I've enjoyed many great moments, but this was one of the greatest moments when I received the MBE and for services to Speedway. And particularly it come from New Zealand. I've been very proud to wear our flag in so many countries over so many years, and to have this recognition, it's really great.
Heat number 5, and away they go this time, and it looks like Mauger has got across. Yes, he has. Mauger leads from Crump. Mueller is last, really got scissored up there. Ivan Mauger really is looking as sharp as a spoke from the starts here. Superb gait then from this man. Now it's coming, Mauger stopped. Mauger's in trouble. Mauger's machine has stopped, and this is a tremendous upset.
Yeah, and that's the piece that done it. Carburetor block is worth about £1, and I was really disappointed because before that happened I was gating very good and really confident, thought that I could win it. If this hadn't have broken, Peter Collins and myself would have gone into the last race with 12 points each, and then it really would have been on the last race. I did beat Peter in the last race, but by that time he really only needed a second place. But as it happened, I made the start, so Peter had the job to do. I don't know whether he would have done it or not. To me, that's the World Championship from last year. After a period of time, you get used to certain disappointments. Naturally, I was very disappointed when it broke. By the time I got back to the pits, I thought, well, I've got to look to next year now. This is the first time I've lost a World Championship through engine failure. I think it's probably that I can't remember that anyone else has lost a World Championship through engine failure before. I've lost lots of other minor championships through engine failure, which hasn't bothered me very much. But you know, that's £1 worth. It's probably worth about £60,000, that piece of zinc.
That was 1976, but 12 months later, fortunes changed.
The World Crown is worth something like £100,000 in perks for the next 12 months. We have Ivan Mauger, the old campaigner, bidding for his fifth crown. We have Ole Olsen, who indeed he taught so many of the rudiments of Speedway back 10 years ago at Bellevue. And just to make it a really spicy feast, we have young Michael Lee, the kid from King's Lynn, on 10 points. And if Michael Lee wins this race, he could still be champion of the world. Any one of these 3 riders can win the World Championship. They're coming up under starters' orders. The crowd are on their feet. Here we go. 3rd time of asking, and this time it's Mauger who makes the start. This time it's Mauger. It's gone away from Olsen. Lee is battling around the outside of Olsen, and Lee's moved up into 2nd place. But it looks like it's going to be the galloping Mauger's night. Twice the race has been stopped when he's behind, but now he's in front, and I don't think he's going to make any mistakes at all. and really experience is telling for Ivan Mauger. He was behind earlier on, the race was stopped. He was in third place in this race, the race was stopped. Really, it's his lucky night, but who are we to begrudge him his 5th World Crown, which equals the record of Obi Funded, here to present the prizes this evening, and Mauger now is just a little bit over a lap from glory. A night of drama, a night surely of sensations, but what a night for Ivan Mauger. He's over the line into the last lap. He's just got to keep going for another, 380 metres. He looks over his shoulder. He's going to win it. Well, he squeezed through the Intercontinental final. He really had a fair old night, and there he goes over the line. Mauger wins the title for the 5th time. He is second. Olsen's a long way back third. And will we ever have a night like this again in World Speedway? In fact, Leon Olsen now must run off for the runners-up position. Ivan Mauger is triumphant. An enormous crowd in the pits. Just look at that delight. I know he wanted to win this one so very, very badly. He's had controversy along the way. He's had a lot of luck along the way. But there he goes up in the air. And never mind the controversy, never mind the luck. He must be the happiest man in World Speedway right now.